Hot dogs have a bit of a bad reputation, and plenty of rumors swirl around them. Curious whether they're actually linked to cancer? Stick around because we're diving into the facts. The hot dog's roots likely trace back to Germany, though the exact birthplace is debated. Many historians point to Coburg in the late 1600s, where a butcher named Johann Georg Henner created a sausage called the Dachshund. Yes, after the dog. From there, it seems to have made its way to Frankfurt, picking up a local name along the way. Some evidence even suggests Vienna as a contender, where sausages called wieners, or literally Vienna sausages, were common. No matter where the sausage started, it wasn't a true hot dog until it met the bun. Stories differ. One legend credits a German immigrant selling sausages from a New York pushcart in the 1860s, inspiring Charles Feltman, a baker, to open the first Coney Island hot dog stand in 1871. Another tale points to the 1893 Columbian Exposition in Chicago as a key moment for popularizing the bun sausage. Regardless of the story you believe, experts agree on this. Sausages may be German, but the hot dog on a roll? That's pure American.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
It's a common assumption that hot dogs are mostly pork, but that's not always true. Sure, some brands, like the classic Oscar Mayer, stick to pork, but many others, especially the cheap and the ultra-premium varieties, use very different ingredients. Budget-friendly hot dogs frequently contain what's called mechanically separated chicken. As the term implies, this involves using machinery to strip meat directly off the chicken bones. Meat expert Janelle Yancey explains to Best Food Facts, "It's not an unsafe or unwholesome product. It's just a cheaper protein source." Top-tier hot dogs often lean heavily on beef for their premium appeal. This tradition traces back to Nathan Handwerker, a Polish-Jewish immigrant who worked at a Coney Island hot dog stand in the 1910s. He eventually founded Nathan's famous kosher franks, which, since pork is not kosher, are crafted entirely from beef. Today, luxury brands like Snake River Farms continue this tradition, using 100% American Wagyu beef for a truly upscale hot dog experience. Mid-range options, on the other hand, frequently combine beef and pork. If a package specifically says all beef or all pork, you know exactly what you're getting. But when the label just says meat, it usually indicates a blend, commonly around 60% beef and 40% pork. One of the biggest myths surrounding hot dogs is that they're crafted from the leftovers no one wants to eat. Things like lips, tails, feet, and other unappealing parts. In fact, Best Food Facts reports that 43% of Americans worry about what exactly ends up in their hot dog. Fortunately, there's no need to panic. While hot dogs can make use of some trimmings that might otherwise go to waste, their contents aren't nearly as shocking as the rumors suggest. Janelle Yancey tells Best Food Facts that most hot dogs are made from what's called skeletal meat, trimmings from the same roasts, chops, and other familiar cuts you might cook at home. In other words, the idea that hot dogs are purely leftover scraps is largely a misconception. The trimmings used to make hot dogs are pieces of the meat that don't make good steaks and roasts because they aren't a certain tenderness, size, shape, or weight. Thanks to their low cost and protein content, hot dogs have been a go-to for anyone wanting an affordable, satisfying meal. Back in 1915, Nathan Handwerker started selling what would become the iconic Nathan's Kosher Franks at his Coney Island stand for just 5 cents a pop.
Once the Depression rolled around, that's when the business started taking off because you could feed a family of 4 for, under 50 cents.
Hot dogs became a staple during the Great Depression thanks to their affordability, with vegetable vendors even creating depression sandwiches, hot dogs piled with leftover veggies. But budget-friendly didn't mean plain. In 1939, when President Franklin Roosevelt welcomed King George VI to a Hyde Park picnic, First Lady Eleanor served grilled hot dogs, delighting the king so much that he went back for seconds. Concerns about hot dogs and health aren't entirely baseless. They belong to the processed meat category, which the World Health Organization lists as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning there's strong evidence linking them to certain cancers, like colorectal and stomach cancer. The risk can rise when hot dogs are cooked the traditional way, over an open flame. A 2010 review from Vanderbilt University suggested a connection between cancers and heterocyclic amines, chemicals that form when red meat is grilled or cooked well done. That said, the data isn't consistent. Dr. Stephen Friedland, a cancer researcher at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, told Time that you'd need to eat charred meat 2 to 3 times a week before the increased risk really matters. Hot dogs aren't exactly health food, but the bigger concern isn't cancer, it's their high fat and sodium content. As an everyday habit, they're not ideal, but as an occasional treat, you're probably in the clear.